guys, it's Kyrie, and I made a blog post about what I'm going to talk about, but I thought I'd also make a video sharing the same sort of information. So, I have a really big imagination, and constantly I can look at things that don't really have any substance or subject to them, but the patterns or the shapes will just turn into things for me. And basically, at work, I was going to the bathroom, and I happened to be in this deep thought, and I was daydreaming, staring at the bathroom stall door, and I noticed these scratches and lines, and all I could think of was like this dragon or lizard that fit these scratches. So I took a screenshot of it on my phone and was like, alright, I gotta do something with this. Likewise, in the bathroom of my house, there's this cracked paint that looks like three little like kitten Pikachu sort of things, and I'll be kind of drawing that in a future video, but today this video is me kind of figuring out this whole dragon idea. I don't do digital painting in Photoshop like ever, and I thought it would be really fun to see what I could do just to kind of make it like a challenge or exercise for myself. And if you're like me and you see shapes and objects and subject matter in these random inanimate like objects, then I strongly encourage you to take a picture of something like that, sit down and just start sketching or drawing or painting either on paper or on your computer, whatever it is that you like to do. I think it's a really great exercise to take your imagination and develop it and let that imagination live in a sense. So I'm using a bamboo fun tablet, and as you can see, I am really bad at it, but you know what? YOLO, right? So, when it comes to drawing, I am definitely better on pen and paper than on the computer. The drawing tablet that I have doesn't have a screen attached, so I'm literally looking at my computer and trying to do this whole hand-eye coordination thing to draw lines. And it's one of those things where I gotta practice a lot for it to look any good. But I feel like I developed some decent skills. I watched a video before I started this project to get an idea on how to draw and paint and mix colors. So this is the result of literally watching a 10-minute video on a beginner digital painting tutorial. So when I have free time, I plan on developing this drawing to get better at drawing line work, and I think I'm doing a good job so far. I made a separate layer for the background, which is the original image taken from the bathroom at work, and the second layer is the palette that I created beforehand because the person suggested to mix colors before you even start using the colors that you'd like to include in the project, which I did. So I have teals and greens and blues, purples and pinks, and I locked that layer. The next layer is the really rough sketch of it. I wanted to just make it really loose and free form, just to get an idea of like where the scratches were and what I wanted to create. Then the following layer, which is the layer I'm working on right now, is basically a cleaner line art for this drawing, and I'm not taking this super seriously. Like, this isn't meant to be something that's gonna be like fully immersed background like this and that. Like, this is just me kind of screwing around, practicing. I just wanted to make this image of scratches go from scratches to something tangible that you, the viewer, can understand. And hopefully you can compare the scratches to what I was trying to translate. And I think this is a really fun thing to do. All the time I'm in the shower and I'll see like water drops form, and I'll see like faces or creatures. And in the blog, I mention that the most recognizable form of this kind of imagery that you can find from strictly your imagination is, have you ever been in a car or laying on the grass or something, and you and your friends or your family are looking up at the clouds, and the clouds morph into something that looks like something that you're familiar with, and so you point up to it and go, oh my god, that cloud totally looks like a whale. Oh, it looks like a dragon. It looks like an elephant. And you giggle for a little bit, and then the cloud morphs into something else, and maybe it might morph into something that's also recognizable, or it could just be some random blob, or it just kind of goes away. But I think we can all agree that we've done that at least once in our lives. So I am taking that same concept, but instead of it being these morphing clouds in the sky, it's rusty fences and scratched up doors and peeling and cracking paint and maybe shadows from a plant. Like, you can literally take anything from anything and make it something from nothing. How's that for deep thought? So, my dragon's really ugly. I'm already aware of this. Perspective's way off. Proportions way off. But like I said, I'm not taking this super serious. This is literally just me trying my hand at digital art in a digital painting sort of sense. I started out with the line art being purple, and here you can see I'm going to be making it black, and that method didn't work out so well, so I decided to do it a different way. And despite how much I've used Photoshop, I know barely anything about Photoshop because I only use a minimal amount of it, and what I do use in Photoshop is the same thing that I always use, so I haven't really spent much time exploring all of the variety of options that you have here and how much you can do with the program itself. But I thought it would be fun to color in the dragon, and I wanted to start with the eye because I feel like the eye is really one of the most important parts of a dragon, at least in my opinion. I took my palette down with me because this was a really big image, and I end up making the image smaller. If I haven't made it smaller yet, I will, but it's possible that I already did that. So I wanted the eye to have this light blue to dark blue sort of gradient, and it's really bad right now because none of the colors blend in properly. Everything's way too many like shades in between of what they need to be. So I take it upon myself to try and create those shades that are in between. And if you look at any digital painting, you will see like smooth gradients between the highlights and shadows, and there will be like this three-dimensional effect. There's going to be depth and contrast. So that's honestly what I was trying to practice, and I'm also trying to figure out brushes because I'm using a tablet with a pen. I can set the brush to pen pressure, but I also have to adjust the flow of the paint so that there's kind of like the opacity isn't at 100%. And I had to keep juggling between these different brushes, also brush sizes. I tried to save some of them so that I have them readily available, and the names aren't really that creative, but you know what? That's quite alright. But I think for a first time digital painting of this sort of variety, I think I'm off to a good start. I think if I were to devote maybe 30 or 40 hours on this piece, it could probably look like I've been doing this for years. But I think I only worked on this for maybe 45 minutes to an hour. So I don't think that's a lot of time, and maybe that's a lot of time for just the eye itself. But like I said, I've never really done this before, so I was definitely putting my all into this. I really wanted to make the eye look good, and as you can see, like, it is starting to have that three-dimensional effect. The blending certainly better than what it started out as, but it's definitely not perfect because you can still see the individual sections. At least on my screen I can. But so far I am pleased with how this turned out. With something like this, I wouldn't doubt myself if I scrapped the entire thing and started over. But like I said, it's just a small exercise to challenge myself to gain some new hand-eye coordination and muscle memory. So I don't expect this to be that of Picasso or anything, not like a Monet or whatever. I'm not going to be anything like any famous artist or digital artist that you could name on the spot. And I'm noticing now, like, I kept mixing colors and mixing colors and mixing colors, and there was really no structure to it. Like, once I would mix a color, I would forget where I had mixed it. So I would be like, crap, alright, so I'll start a new one, and then things got out of hand. I would really like to have a tablet that has the actual screen built into it, and I can just paint on the screen itself. But here's the thing, I can't justify spending $1,000 to $2,000 on the really nice big Wacom tablet when I don't have the appropriate skill set to create the things I want to create on it. I know people who can make the Mona Lisa with just their cell phone back when, like, the Razor was still a phone. Like, it's crazy the things that people can do with the least amount of technology and resources as possible. So for me to even have the bamboo tablet, I'm already more blessed than others. So I feel like I need to practice on this before I, call it a day and buy the tablet. So I plan on working on this some more. I hope you liked this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.